What's up, everybody? It's your boy Jay Lewis from over at the Square Gamer, and some of you may know and some of you may not know me, but I'm a huge Far Cry fan. Far Cry 3 is my favorite shooter of all time, and today Ubisoft has revealed a new image in regards to what the next Far Cry is going to have to offer. So Far Cry 5 is going to be announced on the 26th, which is this Friday. Today they took to social media to reveal this new image. So pop it up right here. In this image, you can see a bunch of backwoods looking rednecks. So right in the center, you see this individual who kind of has his hands out like Jesus does at the Last Supper. I'm assuming that this is what this picture is supposed to be alleviating to, is kind of like, they're trying to recreate the image. So you see all these backwoods rednecks in the picture, and we already knew that it had a Montana setting, and it's Hope County, Montana. So Ubisoft had put out a video. Maybe some of you have seen it, maybe some of you have not. Just a quick little teaser that shows this creek. The water's flowing, and all of a sudden, like I believe it's a woman that's face down wearing a dress, just kind of dead, going down the creek. And then it pans off to this church, and then it kind of ends there. What you do see in that video is there are some power lines, so we knew that this was going to be some type of modern day setting already, and now in this image we can definitely confirm it's modern day setting. You see some RPGs down in the bottom right hand corner. You see some airplanes in the far right background. What has me hype about this image is you see the bow and arrow on the right hand side. One of my favorite things to do in the Far Cry series is to use the bow and arrow. The different ways that they've used the bow and arrow throughout the series has been awesome. Like recently in Primal, I really dug like hunting animals with it, using poisonous tips. And then in Far Cry 3, or actually in Primal as well, you could use the Berserker arrow, which would turn enemies against each other. So that has me so hyped about this image. In the center, you see a draped over, I would say American flag, but this is not an American flag. They dictate an American flag, but the stars are a little different. The same star image could be found in a flag in the back left corner behind the church, and the church as well has that same image. So I don't know if this is some type of new religion that they're creating in this county. I'm assuming like a way that Ubisoft would want to take this story is you have this crazy cult, and they're trying to get religious backing from all the townspeople and stuff like that. They could do so many fun things with this story. You see a wolf on the right hand side, which looks like it has some type of war paint across its face, in a cross. Could be blood, I'm not real sure. You see a chain going to the animal, so obviously I'm wondering if we're going to be able to use animals kind of like we were able to in the old Far Cry games, where you can use them at your disposal to take out enemy encampments and things of that nature. I would assume that they would use that in this game. That's got to be what that wolf is kind of telling you. You see the woman on the right hand side. If I'm not mistaken, it appears that she's wearing some type of wedding dress. If I'm not mistaken, you see the guy with the red hair. He has some dog tags on, so I'm guessing he's ex-military. He's got the combat knife in his hand, piercing through a porterhouse steak. Then you see the three gentlemen on the left hand side. Obviously some kind of little I don't know, mercenaries for hire, if you will. That's the vibe I kind of get from him. He's got the long hair and the thick beard, looking out like he's straight from the outback. Then you got the guy in the bottom left, with center kind of dug into his skin, and so I'm guessing he obviously wasn't following the teaching of the religion, and maybe they're going to publicly shame him, maybe hang him, something of that nature. So my thoughts on this image and where the Far Cry game is headed is I'm completely blindsided by it, to be quite honest. I really figured that we were going to be going back to Rook Island. Ubisoft had showed some images on their social media that showed the old image of Rook Island that used to have the knife in the water. They recently updated that image and it has a skull on the bottom. I still don't know if we might see that game get re-released, maybe a remaster on the PS4. I have no idea what all that was on their social media, but I'm very hyped for this. This following this religious cult can be fun. They can do so many like story elements to it. I really feel like you can have a really cool main villain. Maybe they can capitalize on what they were able to do with Boss in Far Cry 3. To this day, that's probably one of the best villains, the best voice acted villain I've ever seen in a game. So hopefully they're able to kind of make another cool villain. They tried to do it with Pagan Min in Far Cry 4. It didn't really resonate with me, and for the most part, I think a lot of people agreed that he was not that strong of a character. So yes, I'm really hyped. Seeing those airplanes in the background makes me wonder if maybe multiplayer will be returning for this iteration of Far Cry. It has a number attached to it. Primal did not. Primal also didn't have a multiplayer to it. So I'm wondering if they're bringing the multiplayer back. They gave it some time off. Maybe revamp some things. I hope they don't try to make it like a copycat multiplayer and have too many elements that are like Call of Duty or Battlefield. I hope they can truly do something unique with the multiplayer, assuming it's coming back. I would assume that it is. What The Last of Us was able to do with their multiplayer, it was so like disconnected from any other multiplayer shooter I've ever played. I'd like to see a Far Cry version of that. I'd love to see map editor return, even if it's a more simplified way of creating maps. Because one of my favorite things to do in Far Cry 2 was to build maps. I spent many hours like just getting lost building maps. I hope that returns, but my overall thoughts of where they're headed with this is I think it's headed in a good direction. I can't wait to see what these characters are all about. But tell me what you guys think. Did you see this coming? What about the image that was revealed? Are you able to find any Easter eggs in it that maybe I'm not seeing? Anything that kind of gives us a hint as to who these characters are, or kind of like where the story's headed. Thank you for watching, guys. For all things Far Cry, because I'm going to be covering it like heavily. Any new news that comes, I'm going to try to do some reacts videos too. So for all things Far Cry and all things video games, guys, keep it locked right here to the Square Gamer, and thanks for watching. See you next time.